Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Box of Roses podcast. I am Xander Rose, and with me is my buddy Alex Box. Boxy, what's going on, champ?
Not much, Xander. How you going, mate?
I'm going good, man. But today I'm really excited. I'm really excited today because we have one of my former wrestling trainers. He's currently living in New Zealand and training with Fale Dojo. He's Australia's first. That's right, guys. Australia's first young lion, Darius Vega, aka Andrew Villalobos. How are you, buddy?
That's it. That's me. I'm good, man. It's good to hear your voice. It's good to speak to someone from back home in Oz. It's a breath of fresh air, believe it or not.
Mate, it's good to have you on. What's been going on, mate? I've missed you. It's been a long time. You're looking well, but what's been going on? Tell us.
Oh man, what hasn't been going on? There's heaps has been going on. My freaking the last 6-7 months. Geez, the whole year has just been really life changing for me. I've pretty much relocated here to New Zealand. Obviously, that's obviously a big change. Leaving the family, leaving the VCW boys, leaving everybody back home, chasing the dream here in New Zealand at the now crowned or now named New Zealand Dojo. We're officially on the map as far as that's what we're kind of labeled as, the New Zealand Dojo. And yeah, just living here, living the life, trying to pretty much train full time as a wrestler, as a young lion here in New Zealand, and just adjusting to New Zealand life. Obviously, we had obviously it's not really obvious, but we got a big doco coming out of the actual dojo. We did like this big 12-week camp, this big intake with a bunch of dudes. I think it was like 12, 13 of us. Massive doco we did. It's coming out and next year. I think we got a trailer coming out soon as well. But so that was pretty gnarly. And then some other things I can't tell you about, but there's big things coming end of next year, end of the year. But yeah, man, everything's happening. Everything's happening in the world of pro wrestling for me. Anyway,
Good stuff. Good stuff. Mate, when did you start watching wrestling?
man, I can't remember the exact moment or the exact age, but it was probably maybe remember that primary school age, 8, 12, something like that. And I just remember watching on TV. And then I don't remember exactly what I was watching. But then it all sort of came together. Eventually, in my early teens, I just started getting you get the VHS, you get all the pay-per-views, started watching all the 90s stuff.
Oh,
And
yes.
then, yeah, man, just like all the, pretty much like the late 90s stuff, 2000s, like, The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, all those dudes. And then that was kind of my thing growing up. And then obviously Ruthless Aggression, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, man.
Awesome.
So, who was your favorite wrestler when you were younger?
Favorite wrestler? Triple H was my dude. Growing up, hero Triple H or villain Triple H. I rooted for the bad guy. Then growing up, it was more Eddie Guerrero, more from like a wrestler's standpoint as opposed to like a fan. And then I'd say Punk. The whole Summer of Punk, the whole pipe bomb.
Oh,
I
that
really
was
kind of
so
marked
good.
out. I really marked out for that. And then after that, I kind of started.
I still mark out
becoming.
watching it now. So
Yeah, I know he's back now and everything, all that stuff.
he's great.
Hey, but did you hear the pop when he came back to AEW?
Yeah, that's the thing. We were freaking everyone. There was all the hype behind on Instagram. Is he going to show up? He's not going to show up. And then
Yeah.
I think we watched it on the TV here, and fucking the crowd was nuts.
Yeah, personally, I didn't think he was going to come back. I even told Xander, I'm like, nah, it's not going to happen. And then Cult of Personality played, and I was like, holy
And he came
crap,
back
happened.
to the theme as well.
Yeah.
That was the best part because me and Alex were talking about it. I'm like, well, even if he does come back, he won't be cult of personality, surely, because I thought, WWE would have had the rights to it or something.
Stuff,
yeah. And then when you just hear in the whole crowd, see Punk, and then you just hear the cult personality kick in, I'm like, you're kidding. Like we already talked about this before in a previous show, but I just remember like jumping up and down. I remember calling you, Alex. I'm going, man, what was that? Like it was goosebump stuff.
I had a feeling it was going to be too cult of personality because I knew he came out to that when he did his UFC thing and cult of personality played. So I think he's got like the rights to use that wherever he wants to, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
If there was one wrestler, past or present, that you could wrestle, who would it be and why?
Wrestler, past or present. So Eddie Guerrero, again, going back to him, he was kind of always the OG as far as like the style I was into. Being obviously we were coached with the whole Vulcan, doing the whole Malenko style. Eddie Guerrero was obviously a big part of that. And then obviously he passed, so he's kind of like this big legend in the wrestling world. But yeah, he's definitely up there. But even recently, just like because we've been studying a lot of like old school wrestling over here, like a lot of 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And I listened to Hogan on the Austin podcast recently, and I was like, man, maybe Hogan would be like someone really awesome to work with back in the day.
Yeah, like in his prime, like the golden era.
Yeah, or just
what about that?
Able to work with someone like that.
What about the Hogan match in New Japan?
Yeah,
was it New Japan? It was in Japan. It was definitely in Japan. I'm not sure if it was New Japan, but it was definitely in Japan. And it was.
He did the tours and stuff in New Japan. I don't think he was a fan of it, but he worked with like Inoki and all those dudes.
Yeah, I have this vintage match. Hulk Hogan figure. I have this like vintage Hulk Hogan figure, and it's like black trunks with like bright red and white boots, and it's got like kanji like on the front, and it's really like it's really cool. I'm like, so yeah, it would have been like when Hogan was wrestling over there. I think did he work with Andre over there as well?
I'm not sure if he worked with him, but I know. Well, according to the other freaking podcast, everything's podcast now. Yeah, the podcast I was listening to, that's what a lot of the stints Hogan did in Japan was what I think garnered a little bit of respect from Andre because they weren't mates like early on. But I think that was one of the reasons why they became mates.
Yeah.
So when and where did you start wrestling?
When and where? Man, 15, 16 years old. Club Vulcan, Mega Pro Wrestling by the 90s Gladiator Vulcan, aka John Saru. He was my guy. He was my mentor. Taught me the Malenko style in my early teens, and then did all the push-ups and squats, all that old school stuff. And obviously, it's still carried through. I mean, they do it in Japan. They love it, but it's good that I kind of picked that up at a young age.
So you've been wrestling for a little while now. What's the highlight of your wrestling career?
Highlights, man. I don't want to. Probably nothing. I mean, obviously doing the tour in Australia when I debuted with New Japan, that was a big deal. Wrestling in Melbourne and Sydney for New Japan, doing those young lion matches, that was definitely a big deal. But at the same time, it's like in the grand scheme of things, like there's going to be, well, in my mind anyway, there's going to be way more highlights. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the mindset you got to have. There's always going to be another highlight. Yeah, exactly, man.
I've got two highlights of you. Do you want me to share them?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I'd love to hear.
All right. So the first highlight that I have of Andrew Villalobos, a.k.a. Darius Vega, is after you won the VCW championship and you did a promo in the back.
Hey?
The one that when you won the VCW championship.
Yeah.
And then you did a promo at the back and you were drinking the V.
Yeah.
Remember? That was gold, mate. It was gold.
I enjoyed that.
You know what? And you know what we're going to do when we post this up. I definitely want to post that promo up to Alex so you can see it, man. It's absolutely gold.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
You get to keep that thumbnail with my friggin' face.
Yeah, I do. I liked it. And the other thing was, I don't know, was it your last match or maybe your second last match? But when you were coming out to push it to the limit, and then you come out with a shirt.
Yeah. That was one of the last ones.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the last, the second last, but yeah. And you just I think it
was the second last for VCW. The last one was the tag team match against the Samoans.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I just remember him coming out in the corner Yeah, in the corner, and you're just like, push it to the limit. You're putting your shirt right and then left, and like, you got to say it again, Alex. I'm going to put this that thing up on our Facebook page because it was pretty funny, man. And I don't know if you meant to do it, but it just worked out really good, eh?
No, I didn't practice it in the back or anything like that. I just did it. It just felt natural. I suppose that's a lot of things interesting. A lot of things just happen and then it sticks.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the crowd when you won the title. I think it was against.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I think was that the same show that Xander made his debut.
Oh, maybe they all.
I think that was it. That show. I think it was that show. That was a good show. That was a good match. I was really impressed with that one. So you get the approval of the 16-year-old Mark.
That's what it's all about at the end of the
day. You know, if you've done well, you know, in the eyes of a 16-year-old Mark, then you've made it. You know,
you've made it. That's it. You're the greatest of all time.
Yes. But like, what was it like, really? I mean, having Vulcan as your wrestling coach, though. I mean, he's a character, but what's it like?
He is a character, man. I mean, at first, because when I started, I was you know what it's like. Yeah. When I started, like, I'm like this quiet kid, you know, like I'd never done weights. I'm like this skinny guy, nervous, whatever. And he was like a sweetheart. He's like, you know, obviously, like you get to know him, and like now he's like the biggest smartass.
I was gonna say,
when I first met him, he was like, oh man, he was like really nurturing and just like, yeah, it's okay, man, like keep pushing through, things like that. And I was like, awesome. And then later on, the real John comes out, the real Vulcan comes out, in a good way, or in a good way, in a bad way. But yeah, no, he was really super nice when I started. I was thinking a bit of a tunnel there. I don't know how to get out of it.
So back to, you've been wrestling for a long time. Who's your biggest inspiration when it comes to like wrestling, like your style and your character and everything?
Inspiration, man. I really tried to think about this one, but I couldn't come up with anything. There's too many people. I suppose a cheesy answer would be me, because obviously you always strive to be your best, yada yada. But
they say obviously your wrestling persona is supposed to be you turned up to your max level or whatever, right?
Well, that's the thing. Up. The more serious you become about pro wrestling, the less you start to think about things as like a fan, and you kind of have to switch the mode and be like, oh, like that guy was so cool, he was the best. And it's more now like, oh, I like that really guy, he's good because the way he he works, not the way he like, oh, that guy's so cool, I want to be him. Like from a fan, just the point of view changes.
Yeah.
And so that's so it's hard to explain. So I don't want to say like Triple H, who's he's a great wrestler, for example, but when I was a kid, I was like a big fan of him as a fan.
Yeah.
But is anyone in particular like Fale that's like really like, you've looked at and you thought like, well, he's helped me heaps, because obviously we know VCW, Vulcan, from when you were younger, but overseas someone you're going, mate, like, wow, like it's a new dimension to your wrestling skill set or something,
I can't pinpoint one guy. I mean, obviously like the Malenko crew, like, the Jericho, the Chris Schmenoir, or whatever, Eddie Guerrero.
That's right. We're allowed to say his name here.
We can say it.
It's not we don't have a list like Vince McMahon of like forbidden words or whatever.
Right.
You just can't say pro wrestling; it's sports entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You can't say belt or title. It's championship. No.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, those Malenko boys, obviously they're a big influence, and then just lots. I like just lots of bits and pieces of everybody. Like a lot of guys in New Japan, Jay White, Tanahashi, Zack Sabre, Shibata. Like the list goes on. Fale, obviously, you know what I mean. So it's just like I can't pick one. There's just lots of attributes I admire about a lot of different people.
Yeah, all those guys over in Japan. Like I've been watching a lot more of the New Japan stuff lately, and like. Seeing how well Robbie Eagles is doing over there is like really awesome to see. Like seeing an Aussie go over there and do some really cool stuff and accomplish a lot. Like he was double champion for like a week or something. He was junior heavyweight and junior tag team champ. Like it was really cool.
Yeah, it's very special, obviously for for Australians and just Oceania, it's a big deal for people from where we're from to kind of make it in that spectrum overseas. So it's always great to see that type of stuff.
So I've told you my favorite memories of you at VCW. What's your favorite memory?
Probably my favorite moments in VCW are probably backstage with all the guys before a show. That's probably hands down. That's like the most, like the funnest, like nervous, fun, exciting environment and experience that I felt, and I love that. It was really really fun. It's something I probably miss as well. Just that backstage experience with the boys at those shows. It's just something really special. I think that's just wrestling in general. You get that the camaraderie.
It's good, eh? It's like you're back there, and like you said, the nervous, like you get nervous, and that it's like then you order all you go to the shop, you get some lollies or some energy drinks or waters or whatever, blueberries, whatever everyone wants to get. But you go back there, and
that was a random list of things you just listed. That was really random. It was energy drinks, blueberries, like what?
Okay.
What?
Because I'm the blueberry guy because I'd go there to get blueberries, but there's some people would go get energy drinks, some people would get water, lollies, whatever it case may be. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm the blueberry guy. But sorry, let's all have a can of V before we go out there. Like whatever whatever floats your boat. But for me, it was a blueberry and water.
Actually, no. Back to the back to the. So yeah, the best moments reached up, obviously the backstage, but one more little thing. There's one little thing we do before the guys go out and the show starts is Vulcan. He does a nice little prayer. We all circle up. Everyone closes their eyes. We do that nice prayer, and it's just, I think that's something very special. Which is something that I'll miss.
So, what are your goals in terms of like your future in wrestling? Like, where do you see yourself in, say, 5 to 10 years?
Where do I see myself here? So, obviously, moving down here, it's like a full-time thing. So, it's a permanent move here. So, pretty much being a full-time pro wrestler for New Japan, and just working with the company for as long as I can, as a wrestler, and then whatever down the road, whatever opens up. But yeah, I'm pretty much all in, committed with the company of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
So I ask this question to everyone who, I know you're a former VCW wrestler, or the current VCW wrestlers, I ask these two same questions.
What do you ask me?
I want you to give me your honest opinion.
Oh, no.
Who is the nicest guy in VCW?
Nicest guy? Well, it's definitely not Tony Cruz and Lee Moreau. It's definitely not those guys. It's definitely not Hudson Hulk and the Bulldozers, Zach, because we lost. I think I lost to them in my last match. So it's definitely not them. But you know what? Probably the nicest. Maybe that Chris Orba guy. Maybe. Actually, no. I don't really like the Greeks. We'll go Prince of Leon. Let's go with Prince of Leon.
Prince of Leon.
Yeah.
Did you know he can read the Bible in Latin?
I didn't know he could read it all.
Yeah, neither did we. Love you, Prince. You're a great guy.
I love you too, Princey. But yeah. All right. So
and JJ Spartan I miss as well.
I thought you didn't like the Greeks.
Oh, is he Greek? Is he? Oh yeah.
The Greece.
The Greece.
Yeah, he represents Greeks everywhere.
I just wanted to name drop JJ Spartan.
Markville, St. Peter's, Sydney.
Yeah, that's it. All stops.
Oh God!
Are we keeping that? Are we keeping?
Yeah, I want to leave that in. That's good. So the biggest grub in VCW, the biggest grub.
Oh, that's probably
Xander Rose.
AK-47, also known as Akram. That guy's the worst.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, I can't stand him.
Why?
Shots fired. Is this a call out?
Nah, that was really a grub basic stuff. He's just a funny fucker. Agram's cool. That was really a grub, man. I'm just trying to think of a roster now, to be honest.
Lee Moreau.
Nah, he's all right. He's all right, the Lee Moreau.
Okay, what about this? What about the Renegade?
Oh, the Renegade. The Renegade's the prodigy. He's the next big thing. You guys just don't know it yet. I don't think he knows it either.
I reckon he took your spot when you left. He's training now and everything.
Yeah, I know. He's definitely taken up the mantle, hasn't he? Or so I've heard.
Oh, that's gold.
A lot of the new guys' names come from Vulcan. He's like he's our Dusty Rhodes with the names.
Oh yeah.
Renegade, Xander.
No, the Xander was I did Xander.
Yeah, just like you did Vin Lethal.
Hey, Villa, tell him how good was Vin Lethal. You gave it the tick of approval, I remember.
I did give it the tick of approval.
It's gold. Vin Lethal. Like, you know.
That sounds like you're going to be chasing the 24/7 title for the rest of your career. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah, but
don't
you get it? Like, because there's a resemblance. Like, I'm not saying that I look like him, but there's a resemblance. You know, my outfit, this, that, whatever, bald head, whatever. Right. So there was a little resemblance there of Vin Diesel, and like Vin Lethal, like, you know, like tough guy. I thought it was brilliant. You know,
so.
I thought it was just a little bit on the cheesy side.
Yeah, maybe, but does that mean it's bad? Like, you know,
Some of the best things we got are the cheesiest things.
Well, then again, you know what? Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood.
That's very cheesy, but you know what?
Hollywood.
What a man.
Do you know what? On the outside looking in, I thought the same thing. So I thought Hollywood, yeah, I get it, Hollywood. What are you doing there? Giving a stunner on your laptop?
What I do to my laptop is none of your business, all right?
Oh.
Some things are a bit, you know, quirky, but you know, some things work, you know, because of the quirkiness. You know what I mean? But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What sort of outfit you wearing these days?
When you're wrestling? It's funny. We got a so young lion, New Japan. You got to wear that. It's just black trunks, black boots, and that's it. You know,
oh wow,
start from nothing. Yeah, man. And tomorrow,
I love that.
We got a photo shoot tomorrow at the dojo, and we just gotta. That's what it'll be in. You're pretty much naked with a black pair of undies.
I like that.
And some black shoes.
I'm assuming that long pause was because your jaw was just dropped.
Oh, I'm just thinking about you like half naked. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's
what a rig. You know, I'd go there at Club Vulcan there when I used to wrestle, and you know, obviously, 3 days a week or whatever, I'd go to the gym, you know, and there's Mr. Villalobos there, and you'd see like he'd be, you know, he doesn't like when you're there, like, you know, I know him obviously very well. We've been training together, but for some reason when he's training, like he doesn't look at anyone. He just does his weights, you know, and you see him there, you know, doing his bench press. And you put actually a little bit of size. Last time I seen you anyway, I don't know if you've lost a little bit of weight now, and you put a lot of weight on, or decent, not the size of a decent amount of weight anyway. But how you looking now?
I did a big cut since coming to New Zealand. They were just we got a really good strength and conditioning coach down here. Tangi-san is his name, small fella. But he's got us on the program and everything. So I'm back in VCW. I was like 96, 97 kgs. I'm like 91, 92,
wow.
3-ish now.
Wow.
But yeah, man, just that's it. You gotta be, if you want to take this seriously, you gotta be fit. Unlike a couple other boys in VCW, I'm not gonna mention any names.
Just
wink.
Mention.
Nah, I'm just gonna. I won't name names. They know who they are.
So one person that I find pretty funny there at Fale, I see him on the socials and that, is Tony Kozina.
Yes.
tell me a little bit about him. He's just an intriguing character, isn't he? Like, what's his story? I don't really know much about him, but he's just a character, isn't he?
Yeah, so Tony Xander is our wrestling coach, a pro wrestling coach here at the dojo. Obviously, Fale Son's our main mentor, but all the sessions Monday through Saturday, he's always there with us, giving us the advice, giving us the workouts, giving us the feedback. He's there, and yeah, man. So when pretty much Fale Son did his excursion in the States, he trained with Tony Xander. And yeah, so he's a vet, man. He's done it, Canada, the States. He's worked with a lot of the top guys now. Back when they were in the independents, Kyle O'Reilly, Daniel Bryan, all those guys. A lot of AEW guys. But yeah, man, he knows them all, and he's good mates with them too. But nah, he's definitely great mind for pro wrestling. He's definitely been a big influence for us boys down here.
And he does some. I've seen some funny little TikToks. I mean, I don't even have TikTok, but I think he must be sharing them on the Facebook page or something. Yeah. It's pretty funny. Huh?
Yeah, TikTok's a big deal down here for some reason. It's not. I haven't tapped into it yet. I tried to, but I didn't know how to do it. But yeah, the Fale Son, Tony Son, they love the TikToks. They love doing the little.
Fale's big on TikTok. He's like on my Instagram. He's appeared on like these random Instagram pages, or he's been on like my For You page, or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even follow this guy, and he's sitting there. He's got these like inspirational TikToks that he posts. They're actually really good.
Yeah, man, he's really big on TikTok, like as far as following and
it's not even like wrestling fans. It's just like general people that just follow him, and I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah, he does a lot of motivational stuff, so that's it. You got to stay motivated in life.
So last question. Do you have any advice for any young aspiring pro wrestlers that maybe want to get in the business and, are looking for advice?
Yeah, quit and get a real job.
Get a real job.
No, I'm just teasing.
Ouch, nah.
No. Aspiring
dreams don't come true. No.
Just outwork everybody. If it's something that you really like in your mind, obviously you got to make sure in your brain, in your mind, that it's something you really want to commit to. Whether if it's keep it local on the independents, or you're striving to make it a full-time thing, WWE, AEW, New Japan, whatever. Just outwork everyone, pretty much. You gotta move the needle. You gotta do your push-ups and squats, brother.
Say your prayers, see your vitamins.
That's it. You gotta put the work in. Just like anything else in life, you just gotta work harder than everybody else.
Yeah. So, Villa, any other final words you'd like to say, brother?
Final words for your lovely little box of roses. It's just a little hello.
Aloha. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Aloha. From Japan, we are signing off. Aloha. That's like half Arabic, half Japanese.
Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Villalobos, for joining us for this lovely chat. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube, like our Facebook. We're now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.